Okay, now I'm going to explain about the adulterous woman that was brought to me to judge. Now, this is what I wrote in the sand. Firstly, as she stood beside me, I wrote this. Now, she was standing beside me and she could see what I was drawing and she was able to read it, you know. So when she saw what I had drawn and she realised it was a scene in front of me with the moon in the sky. She looked up and she saw the moon. And I was able to see her eyes and the peace of God entered her heart. Next I stood up and I said that he who has not yet sinned cast the first stone. And then I went down again to the ground and I went back to my drawing. And this is what I drew next. I smoothed out this dust and I drew this. Again, the woman saw what I had drawn and she understood. And even though she faced death, she stood and she looked them in the eye and smiled. As they paused to think about my words, they saw her smile and they were all struck with fear. And they knew their hearts were naked. None of them could overcome the fear of death, unlike the woman. And they all left. Now, while some say I am not Jesus, and that I contradict what I said the last time, I do not. That is because you do not understand the Spirit. Just as I talked in duplicity the last time, so again it is now. Again, I tell you this, I do not come to break the law, but to reaffirm it. The 10 Commandments. Firstly, love God with all your heart, mind and soul. Honour your parents. When you become an adult, God is your only parent. Still, respect and be kind to your biological parents, for they deserve it. Respect and obey God always. Do not kill. This is the law. Although the Spirit has allowed exceptions in the likes of food from plants, roots and animals, also against tyranny through the ages, so that innocence may survive, this is the law. Avoid killing anything as much as humanly possible. Anything. I spoke in parables so that the righteous may understand, and where innocent people were forced to kill to survive by circumstance, that at the same time they would not be burdened in conscience or misled by evil intent. For those who say I ate meat in the gospel, I tell you this, I did not. Only the avatar sent after my death ate fish, and that was in order to ease the burden of future disciples and believers, including those who would be cast to sea in order to save the gospel. Do not steal. This applies to even those who have orchestrated laws which steal from the poor and give to the rich. That is still stealing. Such laws are from Satan. Change them. Ask and share. Do not commit adultery. I tell you this, marriage has always been primarily for the protection of children and to ensure their positive development. And marriage is the institution for intercourse. It's a very serious commitment. Don't take it lightly. Every child deserves to be raised by their natural mother and father. I have told you, where a marriage breaks down and the two cannot reconcile, they may part ways. But they must always keep their duty to their children, at least until they themselves are free adults. If one takes another lover, it is to be only by sharing the lollipops and ice cream of love, without contract. Here you see God has given you options so that you may always enjoy sensual love. Be grateful and do not abuse this gift. I said before, he who divorces and remarries commits adultery. So does anyone who marries multiple partners. I tell you again, if you have children, do not remarry. A child is the consummation of a marriage. To remarry after consummation is a grave crime in God's eyes. Just as a child can be torn apart emotionally by an adulterous parent, so God may tear you from the living. You must remain faithful to your children. Do not have others to other relationships. Or you have already remarried and had children to different partners. Humble yourselves and come back to God now. Share the lollipops and ice cream of love and become like virgins again and bring no more children into the family. Do not lie to gain advantage in the world. Be trustworthy. Do not be jealous, for God says jealousy is the root of fear. Yes, jealousy is a natural emotion, but do not let it take hold. When it tries to come into your heart, cut it off. or it will stick, it will grow and fester like a parasite in your heart, and it will suck the life from within you and destroy you. Yes, it's true, as recorded in the Bible. I said I was a jealous God in the beginning. And you might be wondering, why? Well, it's this. I had to leave the spaceship in heaven, where everyone is up there enjoying eternal sensual pleasure. And I had to come down here and suffer with humanity in order to save you. I mean, can you imagine that? And then even when I did, people's hearts, they rejected me, and my passion burned with fury at their foolishness and their ingratitude. But that's a different kind of jealousy. That's not for possession, but for liberation. And just as I was jealous for you, you must also only ever be jealous for the protection of your children and for the liberation of others. Peace. Thanks and praise to Jah.